Mic's on? Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Public Review Session for February 8th, 2016. We'll begin with a special order calendar, decision items. Item number 1, 58591BZ, 22444 Braddock Avenue, Queens.
They provided a circulation plan. They showed the curb cut having been repaired. They reduced the on-site parking count to 14 cars. So I think we're good, except that we needed a resubmission of drawings because they weren't really legible. And I just need to make sure that they show landscaping specs and counts, but I couldn't read the text, so I didn't know if they did.
The hard copy is better.
Oh, you could see it in the hard copy?
Yeah, they're legible.
And could you tell whether they spec the landscaping?
Yes, some of the new landscape, yeah.
Okay, so we just need a better electronic submission, because that's part of our
Well, it
record?
depends on what was,
Yeah, that's part of our record.
And there were more photos in the hard copy also.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay, so what do you want from the applicant?
So the applicant needs to resubmit the electronic copy, but before actually sending it to us, to check that all the text is legible, because it's not. It's like a scan on which there's a drawing added, and you can't read the scanned text. So, on the drawings. So it's just,
The notes on the plans?
the notes on the plans are not legible on the electronic copy, which is part of our record, and it needs to be. Okay? So speak to the project manager, to Carlo Costanza, about it, and he'll give you a detail. And also, you submitted photographs in the hard copy that were not submitted in the digital copy. It needs to be the same thing. Okay,
Yes,
so
so-
speak to Mr. Constanza, and you'll get
Email it.
clarified.
You need to email it today, though, Paul, in order for the decision tomorrow. Okay? Right?
Yeah. Hold on just one second. I want to just check a note. That's not it. No, okay, that's it.
Good. Continued hearing items. Item number 2, 13292BZ, 3948 Amboy Road, Staten Island.
Okay, for this one, we had asked for clarification on the hours of operation. I'm not 100% sure that what it says in the statement of facts is what is the proposal. It went through sort of the history of approvals. So to be clear, what I'm understanding is the hours of operation are what was originally approved, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Saturday, and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday for the banquet facility. Just like the applicant to verify that. And also that it's clear that the banquet hall use is limited to one function at a time, non-simultaneous with the retail store, and the valet parking serves the banquet hall. They did provide photos showing the curb cut was removed. A front gate was replaced with a metal picket, which is much better. That the edge wall was repaired and painted, and a new picket fence was installed on top of it, so it's actually much better looking. However, there was razor wire in the photograph anyway that wasn't removed from the hillside terrace side, which we request to be removed. They also added notes to the plan that no outdoor events will be held in the parking area, which is what we requested. The spaces are numbered at 30. The planting is shown. They did submit a revised plan just recently to remove, there was kind of this stray arc on the corner, which I think was a paving pattern, but it made it look like a wall, so they just took that out because we don't need to approve a paving pattern. And let's see. Okay, and I think that was it. So we just need to clarify that that the razor wire has been removed, and otherwise I think we're good.
I have one other comment, that another condition should be that they don't park in the front of the site.
No parking what?
in the front of the site.
Okay, where it has a wide sidewalk.
Right.
Yes. Can I mean, this is a question I'm raising now, and the question is, given that it's such a wide space up front, and there is some planting there, I'm wondering if it is something that we should ask them to provide some additional landscaping, for example, maybe a planter box with some seating around. It is a nice place. You get a lot of sun in the afternoon, so it can be a place for people to sit, and that would also ensure that vehicles will not get parked there.
Yes,
It
that's a
would
good
get used as an open space.
Okay, so what we could do is have them amend the plans to show that, not because it's winter, not that they
Sure,
can actually
yes,
install
yes.
that. Okay, that's a good idea.
Do they have to get permission from DOT?
No, that's private property. No, that's their own property. It's a sidewalk setback.
Gotcha.
That's quite deep. Oh, and I think also missing from that plan, they amended the plan to show both of the signs. There's one at the beginning, it's one on one end, one on the other, but there's no sign shown on the plan where there's this kind of one banner sign that I believe is on the property. That needs to be also shown. And they also amended the plans to include a signage calculation, which we had asked for before, but they did fix that. Any other comments? Okay. Next.
Item number 3-22609BZ, 24 East 13th Street, Manhattan.
Okay, we had asked at the last hearing whether the attenuation measures that were required in the 2009 approved plans had been installed, and we're told then that they had been, but the applicant submitted a letter from the architect stating that the hung ceiling was not installed at the third floor because the architect determined that the existing structure was sufficiently heavy to meet attenuation requirements. It didn't actually sound that heavy to me in the description. However, they also provided a letter from building management saying that there had been no complaints. So in the end, that's the biggest proof. Anybody?
I just wanted to make sure that they had specifically notified the individual tenants on the floor above, because when you look at the photos of the third floor, you notice that there are free weights and wall balls.
Right. Okay.
So, something a bit more conclusive than
Okay, and then the
Building
management.
management.
Because management said they're not aware of any
And
complaint.
I think they were termed the most recent building
Yes.
management.
Right.
So maybe
Yeah,
there were
okay.
complaints before.
Okay. All right, maybe we'll close on that. Yeah, just one second. Okay.
Good. Item number 4, 35-10BZ, 144-1177th Avenue, Queens.
They requested an adjournment on this.
Okay. Item number 5, 16-12BZ, 184 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
And also requested an adjournment. They didn't specify a date, though, so if anyone's listening, date? It's okay, you could let us know tomorrow.
New cases, item number 6, 227-10BZ, 20412 Northern Boulevard, Queens.
Okay, I didn't find a community board recommendation in the materials. There's several photographs that show a partially painted particle board fence on the property line. It wasn't clear to me who owns that fence, whether it's part of the construction.
There's construction going on.
Right, but is it
On their
construction,
fence.
is it a construction fence?
Yes. Yeah.
You sure? Okay. Okay, and then there was a photograph that indicates an existing AST enclosure with a WO to be located and an FO to be removed. I don't know.
Above storage tank.
Okay,
Above grade
great.
storage tank.
Okay.
In a what?
It says an AST enclosure with a WO to be relocated and an FO to be removed. So, okay, we can assume the answers to it. But where
What
are
are
they?
those and where
They're not
do they
shown
go?
at all on the drawings. And also, there are, the statement of fact referred to non-permanent storage containers, but didn't then show it to us on the drawings. There was one photograph that looks like there used to be some kind of a storage structure, and then maybe another photograph that maybe shows it was removed. It's just not clear. I don't understand what happened. I don't think they mean the trash bins, so I don't know what that is. Any other comments?
I had the building to the east of building, there are these two existing rolling dumpsters, and the landscaping doesn't extend to that back portion, and there is a house behind it. So if it's possible to provide similar kind of landscaping that's been provided on the right-hand side, on the western side, along the eastern side also.
Okay. And if they could possibly clean up their language in their facts and findings, and especially paragraph 1 makes it very ambiguous as to exactly how many parking spots they're going to have. They say they're decreasing and increasing at the same time.
Right, and
That
considering
would
the
be difficult.
history of the site, I think they're asking for 6 spaces.
They're asking for
But
6.
it seems possibly inadequate,
Mm-hmm.
because, the history of this site, when they came back to us for reinstatement, was they had an awful lot of vehicles parked on the site, and including a lot of trucks. Maybe there's a new owner now, but when I went to the site, they weren't parking in the proposed pattern. They were parking along the west property line, and I don't know if anybody else saw it, but there was a 1950s Cadillac on its rims, no tires, just on the rims,
on the rims.
sitting there. So I
But
was-
it may have to do with, I think, that they're trying to put in this ramp, but they need to explain why they're decreasing the amount of parking spaces and how it works, because I agree with Commissioner Montanez.
Not clear.
Not clear, and I think we
Not
wanted
enough.
them to have those 8 spaces because they were so crowded the last time.
Right, and they tend to park along that west property line, which they're not showing, and I think they have enough room for at least a few spaces.
Okay.
Ready? Appeals calendar, decision items, item number 7, 6515BZ, 6615A, 361 Central Park, West Manhattan.
Oh, I'm sorry, I need to recuse from this?
Commissioner Hinkson, could you move the mic to you?
Oh, sure. That better?
Yeah.
So we've received all of the submissions that we had requested from the applicant, and we've received compelling, I think, statements from both the applicant and the opposition, and I think we probably will close the record today. We don't think we need additional information. I think we've gotten everything we want. However, I think the board feels that there is enough information that we are going to exercise our prerogative to spend a little more time with this. So we will be deferring the decision on this until February 23rd. We can have Marjorie come back.
You're done, I guess. All the metro.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Item number, I'm sorry. Should I
Okay,
call
let's
them
wait for,
till they move?
yeah.
Wait till they finish.
she just...
So she making
Oh, you did?
Okay, item number 8, shall we go on?
Yeah.
Item number 8, 114 through 125, 15A, J Court, Staten Island.
Okay, this one, the plans were updated as we requested, I think, and so we're okay. This had to do with the restrictive declaration for the parking. We're kind of new at this, so it took a little time to get it perfect. Okay.
And number 9, 181, 186, 15A, Carriage Court, Staten Island.
Okay, that's the one, are we good with the restrictive decks?
We'll reach out to the applicant for a minor correction to the restricted declaration today, but other than that, I think that we're fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we should be able to finish this off tomorrow, okay. Thank you for your patience with this. We're working out a new concept. Okay.
Continued hearing items, item number 10, 234, 14A, 738 East 6th Street, Manhattan. We have a request for an adjournment to
Yeah.
March 22nd.
Yeah, and I just want to, I don't know if anyone's here from that office, but they submitted a letter stating that they submitted a FOIL request to HPD. We're not understanding why HPD was the agency foiled. I think it's supposed to be DHCR, so if anyone's listening, they should explain to us why HPD was foiled. Otherwise, Tony, please ask that question. Because the issue was DHCR records would have to do with the tenancies, to try to prove the continuity of tenancies, and HPD doesn't cover the tenancies. They do violations, but not tenant rent rolls. And so they also handle the rent stabilization at DHCR, not at HPD. Okay.
Zoning calendar, decision items, item number 11, 5215BZ, 102 16 Liberty Avenue, Queens.
Okay. On that one, that's this one, right? No. On that one, they made all the notes, added all the notes that we requested to the plan, so I think we're okay.
Item number 12, 6315BZ, 35 Sutton Place, Manhattan.
They asked to take this off the calendar. Yeah, so I could, just to clarify this, they came up with another idea for how to cure their problem. And so while they go to DOB to see whether they can cure it that way, they asked us to take it off calendar. And this is a reminder, this is in litigation, so the court kind of controls things a little differently than, and so there's strategy that we don't really know about, but that's what they asked for.
Item number 13, 7615BZ, 1825 East 22nd Street, Brooklyn.
They did move the porch away from the garage to create a 3-foot clearance as requested. They provided an FAR study with all of the FARs greater than 0.5 shown. Although there are many houses on the social block, my newest favorite term, and on the tax block that exceed 0.5 FAR, there are only 6 on both the social and tax block that near or exceed the requested FAR. However, from my point of view, in this case, all the floor area that's being added to the building is being added to the rear of this very small house. So the effect of the additional massing on the neighborhood is minimal. And that's why I don't really think that FAR plays into the neighborhood character, because it's not discernible. Anybody else? Okay.
Item number 14, continued hearing items, 1781 South Avenue, Staten Island.
Okay, with this one, we had photos of the fire alarm installation, and I looked up on the BIS website that shows the fire alarm permits were issued on December 30th. I see there was a request very recently, right, for a fire alarm inspection, but I don't know whether they It sounds like they had an inspection, no, that they have an inspection date scheduled for the end of the month. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know, but I didn't totally understand what yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yes. Okay, go ahead. Speak. Speak it.
I just want to, I've gone over the record. I had a phone conversation with the applicant's office on Friday. We have several submissions, and it's not right now, and maybe I could follow up after the review session with the applicant's representative who is here. It's not clear if we actually have the modified sprinkler head sign off from DOB for the UFC gym space. There's a lot of documentation. Some are modified sprinkler heads, some are not, and a lot of letters, and I'm not sure based on the time frame, because UFC gym, I was told, was not in operation back in 2008. So some clarification, I just want to mention to the board, that's needed on many different submissions made since July 2015. In addition, the plan note per the recent decision like today on 5215, we need to say entire PCE space will be fully sprinklered. That is also, this is a legalization as that was. But I just need to talk to that, and I think I can clarify.
Okay, that's good, okay. So since it's a legalization, it's not will be, it has been on the drawings, right? The fire alarm has been installed, the sprinklers, the PCE is fully sprinklered, the entire PCE is fully sprinklered. But what we could also do is see what the fire department has to say tomorrow. Because I know you're making efforts to show us that it's installed, we just need to make sure that it is. And the fire department ultimately has the final word, but I see they don't expect to inspect until the end of the month, so, okay. Okay.
New cases, item number 1, 25215BZ, 1120 East 24th Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this is a 73622. With respect to the front yard, the applicant claims that the 2-foot 2-inch front yard is existing non-complying and uses sandboard maps to support that. The information on the sandboards is not clear. I'm not sure if the hard copies are any clearer, but you can't really see what those little extensions in the front are. So you can't tell whether they're open porches or enclosures, but then there's a survey, a contemporary survey, that shows the neighbor to one side has an open porch, which I suspect was the legal pre-61 condition, that probably all these houses had an open porch. So since we don't have any authority to waive the front condition, there'll have to be a note on the drawings that says that DOB will review all the front yard compliances or existing conditions for compliance. That, of course, would go to the floor area. So maybe what should happen is the drawing should make clear how much of the floor area in the front is in that sort of non-complying area, and that's DOB's job to verify whether that could actually be built, and we'd have a caveat on the total floor area approved. So yeah, because that's tricky, and we can't decide that. With respect to the side yard depth assumption, the 4-foot wide side yard on one side is only for a length of 18'7" against the total length of the building of 61 feet 2. So, and the balance of the site has a 6-foot or a 7-foot side yard. We've talked about this in many situations where I don't believe that you can pick the narrowest side yard and then just go with that. I actually think it needs to be the 6-foot side yard, not the 4-foot. With respect to the floor area, the FAR study, the proposed is 1.02 FAR. There are 7 houses on the social block that are equal to or exceed 1 FAR. With respect to the lot coverage study, the proposed is 50%, and there are 8 houses on the social block that have lot coverage between 46 and 55%. For me, though, the rear yard study is a bit trickier. The house to the immediate rear and to the adjacent house to that one on the south have 20-foot rear yards, but immediately adjacent on both sides of this house are complying 30 and greater foot rear yards. So this rear yard extension to 20 feet will have an impact on both of those properties on either side. I'd like to know what the height of the rear yard incursions are where the yard is 20 feet deep and what the height of the garages are at the rear. There's also, but this proposal has a 9-foot 4-inch wide porch cutout at the corner at the second floor. So the actual 2-story incursion at the rear is not the full width of the house, the 26-foot width. I'm wondering, looking at the plans to see if, how it could be modified, I'm wondering if there's any way to further reduce the apparent mass at the rear second floor by, say, centering the master bedroom with porches on 2 sides. That would have less of an impact on the neighbors, so it would feel more like a 1-story extension and then a good-sized setback from there. I'd like them to look at that. And then with respect to the compatibility of the height, they're proposing a 36-foot high building, even though the adjacent properties are 29-foot high, and so is this one. And so I'd like more information on compatibility with neighborhood character of such a tall building. However, they are setting back that height towards the middle of the building, so that kind of diminishes the impact. They need to dimension that setback, because it's being set back from both the front and the rear, but I don't know what the dimensions are. And the other thing is the top floor from the floor to the top of the peak is 14 feet on that high portion. I'm wondering if it could be lowered any. Anybody else on this one?
Yeah, I had a question whether they had undercounted the attic floor area. They have to count everything over 8 feet and over. And considering, that it's a tall roof, I felt that there was more floor area in the attic than they were accounting for. They're going to remove what they say is an illegal front addition on the second floor, but they're not removing it to the full front yard depth. They're removing it to, I believe, 10 feet.
Right.
And how are they determining that that's the legal condition? Because I couldn't tell that from the Sanborns. And then the community board requested a 3-foot distance minimum between the home and the garage, which they're not providing.
I agree with Commissioner Montanez. Just in general, what do we call it? Undocumented. Undocumented floor area. I think that the applicant needs to do a little more research to determine exactly what this building legally should look like. They've brought out that front portion to us, but I'm not convinced that might not be the only area in which there might have been some undocumented work done. Mm-hmm. So, understanding Sanborns are good, but I think maybe they should do a little more research and just figure out whether or not the configuration of the building that they are showing us as being a legal condition is true.
So you're talking about even the side yard?
Even the side yards, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it looks like at some point they made it a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
And everybody, even on the Sanborns, it looks like a 1-car garage. And everybody else has a 1-car garage. And I don't think they can even use the 2-car garage because there's no way to get a car in there. So,
Yeah.
With the proposed addition, I agree with Commissioner Montanez. With the proposed expansion on the side yard, it's just not going to be wide enough to even access the garage. So I'm not even sure why we are even calling it a garage, and if the footprint of that should be further reduced to, or
I think the garage may just be for storage like we've seen on some of the others, in which case it becomes floor area. Right? Because they're showing a parking pad at the front, right? So, okay. Okay.
That's it. This concludes the public review session for February 8th, 2016.